Okay, so now let's look at question 9. So for question 9, right, so let's check whether a number or term belong to a sequence. So how do we do such questions? So first thing, I have used Ashishing works to go through with you. So let's thanks her for giving us this opportunity to learn and improve. So whenever we want to check a number or term that belongs to a sequence, we need to first know that as long as we can find n equals to a whole number or integer in step 4, from what we have learned previously in the previous video, this means that this number or term belong to a sequence. Why? Because this n, right, represents a position of a term in a sequence. So if you can find a positions, which is a whole number, this means that this number definitely belongs to a sequence. So in order to solve this type of questions, let's look at question 3. In order to do question 3, we need to go through these same 4 steps. So I'm trying to make it like as concise as possible so that you won't be confused whenever you do such question, like so many steps to know. So first step, this type of question tests you whether you can recognize that the expression of n term can be used to represent any number or term in the sequence that she has found in step 2, which is 7n plus 1. So step 2, in order to know whether 112 is a term of this sequence, right, that means that in order to try it out or test it out, we need to equate it to the general expression of a term. So in this case, right, it's sort of like skip step 2. Why? Because we don't know whether does it belongs or not. So if it belongs, that means that we should be able to find a value of k or n such that it is a whole number. So in this case, it should be n, because we are using the expression of n term. So for this type of question, right, we need to find the value of k. Then after that, we sort of like work backwards a bit. So if you can find a n that is a whole number, this means that this number or term 112 belongs to this number sequence. But if it does not belongs, then you notice fractions or decimal and stuff. So let's test this out. So first thing, we use the expression in part 2, 7n plus 1, and we equate it to 112. Because we want to test it out whether does 112 belongs to this sequence or not. Why? Because if 112 belongs to this sequence, this means that we can represent it as an expression of n term. But we don't know yet for now. So that's why we need to equate it first to test things out. So we try to solve this equation. And after that, I reach to this step here. N equals to 111 over 7. Okay, so if you're not familiar with how to solve this equation, go back to chapter 5 and do a quick revision, or you can WhatsApp me. So n equals to 111 over 7. So if you press in your calculator, you notice that, it give me a fraction. So this is a fraction. And since if it give me a fraction, right, that means that it cannot be a position of a sequence. Why? Because all positions, right, cannot have fractions or decimal. So this means that this number 112 does not belong to this sequence, because this n, which represents a position of a number or a term in a sequence, it cannot be a fractions or decimal. So in this case, 112 does not belong to the sequence. So this is how you show your working. Okay, so this statement over here that I highlight This is very important because this justify to me or show me an answer to you, an answer to me, how can you tell? Or sometimes the question will ask, show your working. Because by writing this statement down, it tells me that you understood that this n represents a positions or number in a sequence. And in order for it to be a position of a number or a sequence in a sequence, this n must be a whole number. So this shows me a thought process when you do such question. So this statement here is very, very important. Because if you don't show me, it doesn't tell me that you understood what you are doing. You're just like doing it like systematically. So that's why this statement here is very important to illustrate to me that you understood what this question is asking for. Okay, so now let me show you one common mistake. Some of you, right, might be confused with the positions with the turn of numbers. So position means first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or numbers. All these over here, they are numbers of the sequence. So don't be confused with it. So if you are confused that 112 is a position, then you replace n with 112, and in the end you'll get this answer wrong. So this 112 here is a number or term in a sequence. It is not a position. Not a position. So please take this in mind. So whenever you see a question, right, don't whenever you see numbers, then you replace the n straight away. You must read the question carefully. Please read the question carefully before you do the question. So if you have question, please text me because this is the best time for you to ask question. Thank you.